Welcome to Forever, man. Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever. Go. And there will be no surrender. Now allow me to reintroduce myself.
You're now tuned in to the Dads Who Live podcast. I'm Joel Staley with my co-host Tyler Gata.
On this episode of the Dads Who Live podcast, we have Amberly Cannon, whom has all the symptoms of the COVID-19 virus and is currently quarantined to her house for 22 days. We talked to Amberly about how this is affecting her family and things that they're going through and what this virus does to people in real time. Don't miss this one, guys.
I'm bigger dead than alive. I'm bigger dead than alive. One more time.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dads Who Live podcast. We have your host, Tyler Gata.
And Joel Staley.
And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Amberly Cannon. And this is a difficult time right now in the world. A lot of fear, a lot of stuff going on with this coronavirus, this COVID-19. A lot of people that just have tons of questions and don't really know. I think there's a lot of false information out there with the fear. And people are, worried and thinking that, the life's going to end and the world's going to end and all this stuff. So, Amberly actually did a live feed on Facebook, which is how I found her, or knew of her. And she, was doing a live feed basically talking about the coronavirus. And you and your children both have it. Is that correct?
Well, they tested us for everything and everything come back negative. We were supposed to get our results Monday and they said they didn't have them. So I called again yesterday. They said they didn't have them. And so I'm waiting on them today. They're supposed to give me the results today. Come to find out, it takes like 4 days to get your results in. And we were tested Sunday, or my daughter was.
So you're not positive yet that you guys have it, but you're quarantined as if you do?
We're not positive that we have it, but the symptoms that we do have are of the COVID virus, and they quarantine us in our home. We can't leave. We can't have anybody over. Can't go to work.
So what was the, you said that you had a test come back negative already, but then there's another test?
No, they tested for the flu and for like strep throat.
Oh, okay.
Anything like that, and all that come back negative.
But the COVID test has not come back yet. Everything else was negative, is what you're saying.
And I don't know if it helps, but I talked to them yesterday and also the day before, and I talked to 4 different hospitals, including the one that we went to, and they don't want to test anyone that does not need medical attention right at that moment. They are refusing it.
Yeah, and I've also heard that they won't test you at all unless you have like all the symptoms. Like if you just have one symptom or 2 of the symptoms, and they won't even test you because the tests are so limited right now.
No, we have all of the symptoms.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying the tests are so limited that they're not testing people unless they do have all the symptoms.
Yeah, this I've heard that too. They didn't want to give my daughter the test, so I kind of pushed for it. It's just it's kind of like we're being in the unknown about it. I don't know if they actually want to tell us that we are positive just to keep the chaos down.
So how did it start? What were like your first symptoms, or what was exposure, or why did you think that you guys had it in the first place?
I didn't think that we had it. I thought that maybe we were coming down with, strep throat or something, along those lines. Friday, I started getting a really bad migraine and woke up around 3 o'clock in the morning. My daughter was sleeping with me, and she had a fever of 103 out of nowhere. And I still had that migraine. Well, I couldn't get her fever to go down because everybody had went to the stores and bought out all the children's Tylenol and ibuprofen. So I called the doctor, and since she's running such a high fever, that's a sign of infection. So they wanted me to bring her in anyway.
Did you?
And that's what started it all.
Okay. When did you get symptoms, or have you had symptoms?
Well, we started kind of showing symptoms about 8 days ago with just a small cough.
What are the symptoms? I guess I haven't been that up on it as I should be. So what are the symptoms that you're even looking out for?
Fever. I know they're saying that like you can get mild diarrhea. It mainly pneumonia symptoms, and that's what it feels like, a really bad case of bronchitis.
Yeah,
but you can't cough anything.
Yeah, it's basically fever, cough, sore throat, and like congestion. Yeah, like pneumonia. And like I said, though, I have heard that there's people that have tested positive for it now that do not show any symptoms. More healthy people or whatever it may be. I guess who knows why. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's people that have tested for it that haven't shown any symptoms, which is kind of scary. But so how did it? Go ahead.
I have 2 boys, and
There they go.
Yeah, you can hear him cough there.
yeah, that's her. Yeah, I have 2 boys, and they're not showing any symptoms except for a tiny cough.
So how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Two boys and a daughter?
Yes.
Okay. So your 2 boys barely have any symptoms. Your daughter had symptoms, though. She had a fever and has the same cough as well?
Yeah.
And then did you get a fever too, or was yours mainly just like chest congestion?
If I was running a fever, I can't tell you that I was because I don't know.
Mom taking action. Love it.
I just had major night sweats, like my whole head and my body. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would be drenched in sweat, like 4 inches of my hair would be soaking wet.
Oh, man.
So how long are you going to have to be quarantined? And is that dependent on what your results say when they come in?
They told me yesterday, I heard from a nurse say that if you're showing these symptoms, but you're testing negative for the flu, that you do have it. But I mean, I don't know how they can say that without being tested. I'm not sure what they'll do about the quarantine, though.
Well, how long did they tell you that you guys have to be quarantined right now?
22 days.
Holy sh!
Wow. Regardless of what the results say is what you're saying. 22 days at least.
If we don't get those results back, if we don't get a positive, we still have to stay in the house for 22 days.
Wow.
Damn.
That's wild.
And did you get a chance to stock up on groceries and whatnot, or do you have relatives running stuff over?
We have plenty of groceries, and we're fine. I mean, the service military actually showed up with supplies. I never asked for any of this stuff. They're helping. They're not leaving us here to rot, which is what a lot of people are assuming is going to happen.
The military showed up and gave you guys supplies?
It was a service member.
Oh, that's awesome.
But they brought like laundry detergent, food, toothpaste, toothbrushes, Lysol, just, all kinds of stuff just to make sure that, we had it here. They're helping us a lot, and, there's not even hardly that much communication, but they're still coming every day, and checking on us.
Are you married, Amberly, or is it just you and the kids in the quarantine?
It's just me and the kids. I have them 24/7.
Man, driving you crazy yet, or are you used to it?
Hold on.
You're good. Take your time.
Man, that's nuts. 22 days in the quarantine.
I mean, I'm used to having them 24/7, so I think other people's patience will run out before mine do.
See, I have my son 24/7 as well. I raise him by myself, but it's like we're not quarantined. We don't have any symptoms, but he's out of school because all the schools have shut down. And so he's basically quarantined to the house because he doesn't have school, and we're already getting on each other's nerves. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we got to figure something out for you.
Right.
So yeah, what are your kids doing all day to keep them busy?
We've come up with a routine, and then I separate all three of them for an hour a day in
That's a
their
good
rooms
idea, yeah.
so that they can use their imagination. We've taken everything out of a closet and made a fort. That's their bunker. Nerf wars. We paint, dance, music. We don't have TV. I have Xbox and PS4, but I keep it put up. So we're not used to, sitting around and watching movies or watching TV. I think also that's what's helped us is being upright, because if you lay down with this, as soon as you lay down 10 seconds into laying down, it feels like there's an elephant on your chest and like somebody's beat you in the back.
Does that make it hard to sleep then?
Yeah, I usually sleep sitting up, holding my daughter so she's sleeping up too, because you don't want it to settle on your chest because they're not giving you any medicine.
That's what I was going to ask. So with pneumonia, you get antibiotics. Do they give you any sort of medicine with this at all? Or is it just kind of, if you're healthy, let your body fight it off?
They gave Jessa some antibiotics because they said that her eardrums were really red. But also with antibiotics, that brings your immune system down. So you have to kind of go with your gut on if you want to do antibiotics right now with what's going on.
Do antibiotics help? Will they help the chest congestion though, I guess? Or does it, since it's a virus, it doesn't help anyways?
It's a virus. There's nothing that's going to help it. It's no matter what they put you on, it's going to work its way. It's got to work its way. And they're saying that the symptoms last 3 weeks.
3 weeks. That's crazy.
So you've obviously been sick before. How does the coronavirus, assuming that's what you have, compare to like the common cold, the flu, strep throat, any of those things?
I think it's different for everybody, but for me, it's like I guess it would be like walking pneumonia, because I'm not fatigued. I've not lost my energy. But it's really hard to stay hydrated. It's mainly just like in the lungs. Trying to think. And then we could not cough up any of the congestion. Like it was just sitting there no matter what we did. And then 5 days into being sick, it finally started breaking up, and we could cough some of it out. And I think that's the scariest part, was because I knew it was just sitting on our lungs and we couldn't do anything about it.
Does Mucinex or anything like that help?
I tried it and it didn't do anything. Which we're still taking it. We just started that like 2 days ago.
So how long, I'm just curious, as soon as your daughter got the fever. That was the first sign of this stuff coming on. How long did she have that fever before it actually went away, and then it was just in the chest?
The fever lasted 3 days.
Okay. So 3 days of like 103-degree temp.
Right. And a lot of people don't know, but with a fever, it's not going to just help taking, rotating Tylenol and ibuprofen. I got it down really quick by feeding her really, really cold stuff. And obviously you can't put them in a cold bath, but you can take a warm bath and it'll bring your temperature down.
And how old is she?
She'll be 3 in June.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid and I used to get really sick or get the flu, my mom would always take cold washcloths and freeze them in the freezer and then put them on my head for a while.
Yeah. The best way that I've figured out to do it is to cool you down from the inside out, like getting,
Cold food.
really cold liquids in. Yeah. And then dealing with, it on the outside.
So how are you? Obviously, if you guys are quarantined for 22 days, a lot of people are quarantined from work right now or having to work from home, and there's a lot of people in the service industry that are out of work. How are you dealing with that? Just being home and funds and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you do for a living, Amberly?
I actually work at a gym. I work in the child care and up front when they need me. We have a lot of kids, parents that work for NASA, just like other places, and people that are out of state. So we could have got this anywhere. I mean, it could have come, anywhere. People's parents travel all the time for work and bring it back. And I believe that it's everywhere. Everybody's just handling it different.
And you think you got it from working in childcare then, probably from one of the kids?
Either that, we did come into contact with someone from North Carolina whose kids were extremely sick, and I even made the joke, your kids ain't got the coronavirus, do you? Because surely they wouldn't, let them play with my kids, but I'm starting to more assume that's who we got it from.
And you're, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Totally just had a brain fart there. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. And you're from Alabama, right? That's where you're at? Okay. So you're in Alabama right now. And how bad is it in Alabama? Like I'm in Nebraska right now. So we're in Omaha, Nebraska. And there's been a few cases, but I don't think there's been a ton. Maybe like 10 or 12 or something like that in Omaha. It's like 22 now. 22 now. Okay. So there's been a few, but how bad is it in Alabama?
We have 30-something cases that have come back positive. We just got the tests in that, they're saying they can test you now and it'll be back the same day. Also, our doctors here are telling us that there are several more cases that are positive. It's just, all that has to be sent to the public health or the government or something before they can, I guess, put it on the news. I don't know.
Have you been paying attention to? Sorry, this is Chad, the producer. Sorry, I turned the video off just because we were having some internet delays or whatever. But I think it's better. Just a quick question: like, have you felt like the news that's been coming through? Is that something you've been paying attention to as far as like the different statistics and what you should and shouldn't do and things like that?
Of things we should and shouldn't do.
Like, do you find it helpful?
No, I think it's creating chaos.
That's what I was going to ask. So you guys are you're basically 8 days into the sickness, right?
Right.
And so you're just now starting to feel better a little bit, like you guys are able to cough up some of the shit in your chest and feeling a little bit better?
Yeah. I don't think that the pollen count is helping it.
Yeah, my allergies drive me crazy too. So how long do they say that the symptoms last before you're actually cured? Is it 2 weeks? I think I heard.
Yeah, like 21 days, like 3 weeks, around 3 weeks.
Okay, so it's actual 3 weeks before you actually don't have any symptoms at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I know the reason that you wanted to come on here and the reason you did your Facebook Live last night, and I think this is what Chad was getting to, but the media is blowing this stuff up, right? And it's like everybody's going to die and the world's going to end. And, you know, we were just talking about on the podcast we shot right before this that there was just nobody died, thank God, but there was a shooting at a grocery store in our city last night, Omaha, Nebraska. And it's just kind of like, you know, fear drives fear and people are losing their shit. So
Yeah.
is it really that bad? Like, what do you have to say to those people that are freaking out, you know?
If, you know, we are positive and we do have it, it's not as bad as even ourselves make it out to seem. I think we all get paranoid and we all get worried and scared and feel helpless. But at the, you know, end of the day, we're going to be okay. And stirring up chaos and freaking out and, you know, all that, it's just going to make it worse for everybody, yourself and your family. And also it breaks down your immune system doing that to yourself. So
you don't think like those shelter in place and stuff like that? You think that's unnecessary?
I think what's unnecessary?
The sheltering in place, in other words, like you know, the social distancing. You think that's unnecessary? You think that's overblown?
Even if our test comes back negative, I won't be leaving my house. And the reason why is just because, you know, I'm pretty much on my own taking care of the babies, and I get really worried when mine are sick. But also, I don't feel. Some people, you know, like you said about the shooting, well, there was a stabbing over a case of water. Until things settle down and people realize that it's going to be okay, you know, I'm staying home anyway.
Well, and I agree with you. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking precautions or doing social distancing, like shutting down large events, just to, if nothing else, just to slow the curve so that, you know, hospitals don't get overwhelmed with people that actually may, you know, have really bad symptoms of this virus. But you can't be stuck in fear, right? So it's like, what can you control? Do what you can do. If you know you need to distance yourself from others for a short period of time, I think that's completely fine. You know, have good hygiene, take care of yourself, make sure your immune system is high. You know, wash your hands. But I agree. Like when you're fear on fear, that's when everybody's going to go nuts, and that's when the economy tanks. That's when you get shootings. That's when people freak out. And to your point, which I 100% agree with. When you are in fear, when you're living in fear, it does drop your immune system 100%. So if you're living in fear by this media-based fear that's out there, your immune system is going to drop, and then you're hurting yourself even more because then you're more susceptible to actually getting it and having it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think the whole point here is like there's only certain things that we can control, just like everything in life. Control those things and go about your life and still live a good life and try to be happy and be in gratitude for what you have and try to make the most out of every day and maybe take something good out of this, like learning what's important in your life, you know, family, love, friends, that all the mundane shit really doesn't matter that much. And just don't get overwhelmed.
Is your gym still open, Amberly? The gym you work at?
They're still open.
How long do you think you before you were showing symptoms? Because doesn't it sit in you for a while before you start showing symptoms? So I'm wondering if you were in childcare and you're at a gym where you're talking to and being around a bunch of people, high traffic areas. Like, what are the odds that other people in your gym are also now in the same boat you guys are in?
So far, no one that works there that I know of is sick. Now the kids, I can't really say. And I don't know if their families are. Nobody's showing up at our gym. And we had some that were from out of town that wasn't even there the last 2 weeks. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I'm kind of minding my own business with that because it is work.
Are you still getting paid, Amberly?
Am I still getting paid?
Yeah.
No,
Okay. So not until you're back.
not until I'm back. Right.
So that goes back to the question Tyler started asking earlier. Do you have like a nest egg set aside that you're going to be all right? Or is it going to get to the point, if this quarantine lasts more than 3 weeks, that you're going to have to figure something out?
We're going to be okay. I've struggled before and I'm okay with struggling. And that was another thing that I wanted to let everybody know is, you start running out of stuff. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's okay to struggle. And I don't think, this is going to last more than 3 months. And anybody can live struggling 3 months, even if, I think we should just go about our lives like we do with any other virus. It's just making it harder for everyone because some people are, out there doing, the stabbings and the shootings and robbing. And I think that's what's putting fear into us is when people get on social media and say that this is worse than what it really is and the government is against us and, they're leaving us here to rot. And that's what's stirring up the chaos is when you start turning it into chaos, then those bad people are going to come out because now they have the opportunity to break into businesses and do that stuff while we're over here stirring up chaos. And, the police are trying to keep us calm. So we're really doing it to ourselves. People are.
I couldn't agree more. And I think I love the message that you're putting out, like how positive you stay through all this, because I'm sure it's not easy and it's scary. It's scary for people that don't even have it, let alone, actually going through it. So do you know of anybody else that has it that's tested positive, like that you personally know?
No, because they're not giving us our results.
Oh, okay.
They're not giving anybody I know their results. Freaking naked. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Amberly, what advice would you have for someone who thinks they do have symptoms? Because I'm wondering, like, all right, so you have symptoms. Do you go to the hospital, sit in the waiting room, be in contact with people to get tested, or are people coming to your house? I guess I have no idea how it even works. Like, if someone has symptoms, what's their move?
Don't go. Don't go to any hospital or any walk-in clinic.
So, but you have to, I mean, I understand the whole don't go to the hospital, but you have to, like, where'd you go to get tested? You had to go somewhere, right?
To get tested?
Yeah.
Yes. We went to Decatur Morgan Hospital.
Okay. So, but that was before you knew or even thought that you guys had it. You went to the hospital.
That was what?
That was before you even thought that you guys had it, that you went to the hospital.
Right, yeah.
So what are you saying? So if somebody doesn't go to the hospital now, if they think that they have it, you're just saying just stay, as long as you're healthy, maybe younger, you're just saying stay at home and just deal with it, get
Or
over
do
it?
people come to you? I guess, like, do medical professionals come to you now in like hazmat suits to test you, or
Yeah, we just have no clue how it works, or what they do.
Like if you have an emergency, do they come to you? Or if I have an emergency?
No, like say someone thinks that they have COVID-19, and they don't want to go to the hospital because they don't want to expose other people. Where do they go to get tested or to get medical help?
In order to get tested, and I talked to 4 different hospitals because I wanted my results really bad yesterday. In order to get tested now, you have to go through, and I'm trying to remember the name because I want to give you the right name. But it's not the health department. It's with us, it would be the Alabama Health something. They have to build a case, and you have to actually fill out some paperwork, and then then you go to the hospital. They evaluate you. They build your case by your symptoms, and then they send that back to this health place, and they have to approve your case for you to even be tested.
That's wild.
That's why I'm saying, just unless it is an emergency and you think your life is, on the line, don't go.
man?
It's been really hard to deal with.
I can only imagine.
Well, we're pulling for you. Man, 22 days locked up in your house. I don't care who you are. It's just you'll start to get stir crazy, I'm sure.
22 days, a week without the gym. I think I'd be freaking out.
Well, I mean, you have kids, just start lifting your kids.
Yeah,
There you go.
right?
That's another thing, make a routine with your family at home, even if y'all, some people don't like working out or exercising. I mean, turn some music on and clean while they dance. I mean, that's better than sitting around. Don't sit around. Whatever you do, don't sit around.
So this whole time that you've been sick, I assume that when you guys had the fevers, you probably felt a little down. But other than that, you haven't had any energy issues or anything, like no fatigue.
I did have one day, and that was yesterday, where I guess I started getting cabin fever. I started getting scared and worried, and that started sitting in. I didn't want to do anything but start telling yourself it's going to be okay, and because there's nothing you can do anyway. And like I said, stirring up the chaos is just going to make it a million times worse for everybody and yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Deal with what you can control and focus on the positive, right?
Right.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. I think this is going to help a lot of people that just have so many questions about the virus. And, like I said, there's so much misinformation and so much negativity going around the media. I think it just helps even just to see a family that has it that's getting through it. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing that you could have. And you guys are making it through. Do you have anything else you want to say to the people before we end the podcast?
If I could give anybody any advice, it would to just, stay living your normal life, go out, go walk, go hike, go fishing, take advantage of the time off. There's things you can do without spending money. If you're too scared to go out, then, we're making it without TV. I don't let my kids watch TV or play on phones or tablets, and we're doing fine. So just stay positive and walk it out.
Nice. Good for you.
Lots of board games, right?
Yeah.
Have you been doing anything on social media as far as like reaching out and stuff, like on your personal pages? Is there a place we can like follow, like you know what's going on and stuff?
No, I went live once just because it was getting pretty bad in the area that I work in their county. And so I kind of just, that's the first time I ever went live. And the only reason why I did that was, to try to bring peace to people that might be sick and might not know if they have it, that it's going to be okay. And they're not the only ones dealing with, the hospitals and stuff. And I think it's all going to work itself out. I mean,
I just remembered one thing from your live. You had said in your live that you vaped before you had this, and I vape as well. And that's the only reason that I found this so interesting. But you vaped before you got it, and then you don't vape as much, but you said in your live that you're still vaping now, right? Just lighter?
Yeah, I've vaped for 5 years, and I use a big box, so it's not,
That's what I do too.
It's a lot of vape. I mean, it's a lot you're putting into your lungs. When I say I slowed down just a little bit.
Do you think that affects you when you have it?
I don't think so. Because my symptoms with my chest and my back are slowly getting better, and it's not getting worse. Now, if I was still sick, if I was hurting as bad or if I was hurting worse, I would, second guess the vape and probably stop completely. But I don't think it's hurting it.
See, it was just crazy to me when you said that, because I vape too, but I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, like, everybody thinks this thing is like this big killer, this huge sickness that's going to kill all these, people, and it has killed some people. I'm not taking away from the severity of it. But in my mind, I was like, man, if she can vape through it, then it can't be that bad,
Right.
You're obviously surviving, you're obviously getting through it, and that's a good message to spread to everybody.
Also, when you're sick with any kind of bronchial problems or something like that, they tell you to put a humidifier beside your bed. That way you're constantly breathing in moisture. And I mean, that's what a vape is.
Yeah, I know that it's hitting mainly the people that are dying are elderly, obese people, and people that smoke cigarettes. They're saying like a lot of the Chinese population and even people in Italy, which have experienced a lot of deaths, like, don't quote me here, but something like 80% of everybody over 65 smokes cigarettes or something like that. So I know that the cigarettes, they are saying, affects death in older and elderly people. But like I said, it's just the whole vape deal is like, I vape. I quit smoking cigarettes years ago, and I feel way better. But it's like, does it affect you? Does it not? So I just wanted to ask how you felt with it having the COVID-19. So,
I mean, I'm doing fine with it.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I think if you don't have anything else to throw out to people, I think we're probably going to wrap it up. But again, I just want to say thank you, and I think it's great how you want to come out and give a positive message and let people know how this is truly affecting people that really have it.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for having me, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, you guys don't go too crazy. Play some board games, and I hope you guys get feeling better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amberly.
Y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance, but his lines are overhead, better check the air for clearance. Call the tower, this is ours, clear the heat, the air apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy, this is forever. All the more times I've been severed, I'm raising the bar, you can go ahead and measure. Think about time for a toast. Time that we welcome to go. Yo, we're just leaving, I think about time.
On next week's episode of the Dads Who Live podcast, we sit down with my financial advisor and good friend, Dylan Jaworski, where we talk about what investments you should be making during these troubling times with the coronavirus and the economy starting to take a plunge. We talk about setting your family up for success should anything ever happen to you. And we talk about some smart beginner real estate investments so you can start to get your money working for you. Be sure to check that out.
I'm bigger dead than alive. One more time, this is forever. Remember the legend, he never gon' die. Yeah. I'm bigger dead than alive. Bigger dead than alive. I'm bigger dead than alive. Dead than alive. Yeah. I'm bigger dead than alive. Bigger dead than alive. Just making sure that you know why, because this is forever.